Hello, Will Delhunty here from Coast Sport. Today I'm going to talk to you about a few things to look for when you're looking at football boots. It's coming to that time of year again where new season and obviously you're going to start looking at a new pair of football boots to get you through the year. What I'm going to talk to you about today is what things to look for as far as getting the right size football boot. In general, football boots are offering a bit of a narrower fit, so it's really important that you're trying on a few different style of boots to get the right fit for you. That's going to reduce your risk of developing things like corns, callus, blistering, and also ingrown toenails and those kind of things can all come from having the wrong size or wrong fit boot. So first of all, there's a few things that I personally like to look for in a boot that's going to give you a bit more stability and structure. And I also like these for joggers as well. So a few things that I'm talking about is generally I prefer to have a nice heel counter. So with that heel counter, it's going to help hold the rear foot in a nice secure position, and you don't want a lot of midfoot movement through the boot. It gives you that stability through there as well when you're changing direction. Ideally when the shoe flexes, it should only flex at the forefoot. Your foot only flexes at the forefoot, so the shoe should give you the support in a rigid shank and be able to give you that flexion up on the forefoot where you can change direction. As far as the feel of the boot when you're looking at it, when you put the boot on, you definitely don't want it to be tight over the upper, especially at the forefoot. The reason being is that friction. When you've got a lot of pressure that comes through there, you're going to cause yourself blistering, hard build-up of corns and calluses, and if they're not taken care of managing, you can create wounds underneath it, as well as blistering underneath those corns and calluses. So it's definitely something to keep in mind. Something to keep in mind too is that if you're looking at a leather style boot, you will have a bit of stretching in it as the season goes on. A lot of the synthetic type of materials that are out now do not have that same stretch. So if you're someone who prefers the synthetic type of boot, it's really important that when you try it on in store that it's a comfortable fit straight away, because if it's a little bit tight, do not expect the synthetic type fibres to stretch with your foot as the season goes on. That is the thing about the leather, is that it does mould a little bit as the season goes on and as you wear them in. As far as actually the length of the boot, this is an issue that a lot of people have. They do tend to get boots a little bit too short. So when the boot is too short, your toes and your feet, they naturally do slide to a degree, and you're going to hit the edge of your foot, of your toes at the end of the shoe. Over time, this can cause trauma to the actual nail and give you all kinds of issues later on, as well as potentially causing ingrown toenails or any of those kind of nasty issues. As far as actually recommendations for boots, I'm personally a big fan of the Asics brand. I do like the Tigrior. I do find it's a bit of a supportive boot. If you're quite hard on your feet and you're doing a lot of jumping, it's something to consider. Even the Lethal Ultimate as well. It's more of that jogger style of boot. It's going to give you a lot of support there as well. Something to consider when you're looking at your boots as well is what kind of surfaces you're going to be playing on. So if you're on kind of firm surfaces, often the rubber soles and the short moulded studs are going to be quite good for changing direction. If you're playing on a lot of wet surfaces, the thicker studs, the longer studs, and also the screw ones do come into play as well. So I know a lot of rugby union players do like to have the moulded studs. It's just about making sure you go into the store and you try on the boots in there and have a good walk around. Anytime I recommend anyone going in to get a pair of boots, I do recommend that you put them on and you walk around the store for 5 or so minutes. Really get a good feel of what the actual boot feels like on the foot. The reason being, if you're walking on it for 5 minutes and you can feel studs poking through, you obviously after playing the full match, you can potentially give you an irritation spot that might give you some issues later on. So they're just a few things to consider when you're looking at your football boots. If you have any troubles or any issues in the long term, contact us at Coast Sport and we can